Yeah, we're starting right on the SI, you know. Hi, guys. Okay, welcome to the RegiCast. I'm your host, Reginald. Joining me is Griff, the ENFP god. What's up, Griff?
The ENFP god. All right. Yeah. Reggie's the cool guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just the robotic thinker.
Yeah, exactly.
At least for right
now. Yeah, whatever. All right. So let's actually get right into it. I know you've probably seen some episodes. I got rid of the whole blast, Griff. I gave up. So all the stuff's in the description, guys. Okay, that's it. Okay, if you have any questions, leave a comment or whatever. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, let's start with the first impressions. The tradition. All right, these have to be spicy though. Okay, be as spicy as you need to be. I'm trying to get this on record secretly. So let me know what your first impressions are, and I'll share mine.
It was just funny, man. It was just because when I first joined in the Discord, I saw your photo and I heard the way you talked, and I'm like, bro, that ain't you. Like, that's not even you, and you didn't even know how to respond. You're just like, okay, I promise you that's me, but okay, and it was just funny because I was like, you don't even sound black, you know.
Oh my god.
Not to be stereotypical, whatever, but that was my first impression of you. I also noticed since I had, if anyone knows,
that's how we're starting.
Probably not a lot of people do, but in the OPS community, I didn't want to join the Facebook group at first, and when I did join the Facebook group, I see just the only person I saw posting was you, bro. Just that cheesy smile on your profile picture, repeatedly over and over, and yeah. So I didn't. Maybe it's blast fast. Maybe it's not function related. I don't care what it is. I didn't want to really jump in and interact with the Facebook group as much. So I saw what you're doing was starkly in contrast to the way I was looking at it. And I was wondering what value were you obtaining from this interaction on the Facebook group? And then, of course, now I'm in the Facebook group and I've learned about that. But that's basically the summary of my first impressions of you. The way you sounded was disconnected with me, and then I saw you were in contrast to the way I was viewing the Facebook.
Oh my god, that's how we're gonna start, huh? You didn't even tell me this. All right, it's on record. All right, I'm gonna repeat that. So yeah, no, it's funny. I think what was my first impression of you? It was like, I think it was through the Discord, right? I actually don't know. Because it's like the first thing that's coming to my mind is other people's impressions of you, but I don't give a fuck about that, really. Like, it's just like, I'm trying to think of what mine was.
Yeah, you freaking DE. You notice what they thought about me, but you don't.
Yeah. I think you were. I didn't not like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, okay, he's a cool dude. Like, it's like it wasn't like it wasn't a strong, we're like best friends or anything like that. But he's fine. Okay, cool. And I'm hearing like a lot of echoing in the background. Okay.
I was pulling up the stream so I could see the comments, but it's good now.
Oh, dude, you can pull up the comments on StreamYard.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, my bad. So on the right-hand side, there's a section called comments.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So just click that.
Got it.
All right, there you go. So my bad for not doing the SI there. What was I saying? Oh yeah, like, so for me, it's like it was more of like a reaction to everyone else's impression, because I know people have, they have spicy hot takes on you. I was like, okay, whatever.
Oh yeah.
I will say, one of my first impressions was, I thought you were ST. Actually, you tricked me. You did trick me. I really thought.
Baby.
I thought you were SETI. That was my honest take.
That was Benjamin's first type of me too.
Yeah, I was like, okay, because I think it was because you talked so much about your diet, and you talked so much, like, you seemed thinkerish, right? It's like, there was that one time where I was like, all in my feelings, you're like, yeah, I'll do feelings, bro. I was like, all right, this is a thinker, I don't know. This sounds familiar, but, I was wrong. So that was my first impression. I thought you were some sort of ESTP of some kind. And just not a bad person. It's a weird first impression. It was a reaction. I was like, he's not what I think people think he is I guess,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you could see through that, because being Bill Burr's type twin, we tend to be really open, really honest, really out there, really yibby skibby, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And so it can mess up first impressions sometimes, you know? So,
yeah. I forgot your Bill Burr's type. Yeah, he's a reckless dude.
yeah, and Louis C.K. even more reckless, man. But,
Is Louis C.K. your type?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's get right into it, right? So let's go right into OP then. I did not even know that. So first, let's actually talk about like you typed yourself pretty accurately, like the whole, and you were like telling us the whole time. You're like, guys, I mean, FP
I actually
guys.
got my type 100% at one point, but right before I went to submit to Dave and Shan, I was like, I knew that I put sleep on a pedestal, so I'm like, let me just put sleep last just to humble myself, you know. And then they came back around and said, no, you're actually that type that I had all along for like months, you know.
Yeah, so you were calling it forever. You were like, guys, I have red hair. What do you think? I was like, okay, you know.
Yeah. I remember honestly too. One time I was like typing myself as some sort of NI or something, and I talked to you one day. I was like, Reggie, I'll be real with you. There ain't no way I'm not NE, and you were like mind blown, like, what? Nah, you can't be NE, bro. I'm like, nah, there's no way I'm not. You know.
Yeah.
That realization was hitting hard, dude.
So how do you like, you know, now that you've been typed for a little while, I mean, what do you think led to that? Like, why do you think you were able to see yourself so accurately?
I think NE, bro, is just able to easily see people's NI. Something I've been building on, and I think OPS as an NI system is easy to see. Like they say, it's not that you're fumbling on the information. It's whatever. All I know is I was seeing OPS. I'm not necessarily a master typer or anything like that, but the concepts are easy to understand as long as you don't let your own biases and BS get in the way. And my method was, I'm like, everyone does everything. It's something I take real seriously. I think everyone 99% of the time are like, they're doing everything. They're really, like, you can barely tell personality type. It's not as obvious as we think, as we make it out to seem, because otherwise the whole community would be getting 100% types, you know, but no one's getting consistent types with David Shan. It's because there's a reason, because everyone's doing everything. But for me, I'm like, if there's 1 million people in a room, what end of the spectrum am I on? I'm like, I'm the chaotic one, you know, even though I'm also more organized than most of those 1 million people, let's say. But in terms of OPS, the way it comes, like, I'm that Yib Skib NEFI, you know, like that's just how it is. That energy dom.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's really good leverage. I remember you telling me that too. I forgot you told me that. That's really important. Yeah, it's like if you have to like put yourself on the spectrum of like, you know, humans, like all of them, and then type it. So you went and you did that for every single coin at that time?
I mean, of course, like you spend so much time in the OPS system, you're pondering the whole damn thing, you know. So here and there, I had to come through the whole thing, but it's like audio just seemed way too obvious because the stereotypes of audio being goofy. I'm a producer. I learn through sounds. You know, it's like certain things will happen in your life just anecdotally, and you'd be like, oh, this is almost too potent to not be true. Like I had a flat tire, and the way I knew was because I heard it, not because of anything else. You know, I'm like, that's just one of those anecdotes that made me certain on audio. And then NE in the server, Prem, I'd hear him talk, and I just get embarrassed. I'm just like, dude, because that's the thoughts that go through my head, you know. But I don't like to go blasting on it, you know.
Yeah.
And then FI, I'm like, that one was almost a little harder, but I knew it was the FITE axis per se. I was like, there's no way I'm TIFE, even though that's the axis I wanted. I'm like, it ain't it, because I'm really passionate. And then with the way I do thinking, it's got to be for everybody, you know, TE type of thinking. Consume. I'm like the consume crackhead out of all my friends, literally. Consume first, blast last. I consume way more than anybody I know. Play. I really wanted sleep. I know I do got a heavy emphasis on sleep being energy dom, but I'm like, when the more I saw the spectrum, the more I saw introverts versus extroverts, I'm like, yeah, I'm extroverted. There ain't no doubt about it, you know?
Right.
And then blast, I thought it could have been third at one point just because, you know, I do a fair bit of blasting, but the more I the way I did realize it is a demon is that my blasting comes in a demon state. It comes after I've been consuming all day, and then I put the blocks together, and then I go blast to somebody. Or it comes out really intensely. Like if I'm trying to blast, like right now, I'm taking the stage and I'm just telling you the whole thing, not giving you a chance to talk. You know, it's an intense demon state when I go into that blast. So, and then energy dom's obvious. I just put so much emphasis on energy preservation, expending, preserving, back and forth. That's the easiest back and forth for me. So,
right.
That's kind of how it all came about.
Right. Okay, so real quick, so let's do it this way. So thanks for sharing that. I think that, you know, that spectrum and like how you're comparing yourself or how you type yourself is really important. I did want to get into a little bit of why you got interested in OP in the first place. And then we'll start getting into like more of the coins, especially, you know, my demon FIS, you know, you were calling me out for being robotic. I was like, okay, you know, then you got to teach me how to vibe. Okay. You got to help me out, you know? So let's start though with the, like, because you know, based on some of our previous conversations, like you got into OP for a very interesting reason. And I'm curious to see how much you're willing to share, like, you know, share to the level of your comfort.
Well, what are you thinking about? Like, what's the reason?
Oh, do this in the notes. I'm trying to set you up.
Oh yeah, so nah, that's not the reason I got into OP, but I think I know what you're getting at. But
okay,
basically the reason I got into personality was in middle school. A teacher made me take a test. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was awesome. I got ENTP. It said the debater. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm the debater. Hell yeah, you know. And then over time, my answers changed. Always varied. It was always ENTP, FP, ENTJ, ENFJ. Always among those. But then I was learning Tai Lopez, Health, Wealth, Love, and Happiness, and he's saying, hey, one of the most important things you can do in sales and business is to learn people's personality types. So you got to spend a lot of time studying that. Go learn all the systems, every single system there is. And then I'm like, well, I already have an interest in Myers-Briggs, and I already know a lot about that. You know, because you think you know a lot until you get into OPS. Whatever. I looked up the function stacks. I started learning about the function stacks. I'm like, oh, this goes deeper than just E versus I, N versus S, whatever. Found Dave Superpower's old videos. I'm like, this is freaking sick. And it's a rabbit hole from there. But what you're getting at, my view that why people get into typology is because they're misfits. Not all the time, but they just want to understand other people and understand themselves because it's just hard to understand people. It's hard to interact with people, you know, and we're all kind of broken in our own ways. And one way to remedy that is to try to understand ourselves and other people, right. You know. So I think we all got issues. That's why we study personality type, because we're all crazy, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. For me, I mean, mine. It started like and you're gonna call me the fuck out for this 100%. I remember the first time I got into like even self-growth was definitely like demon SF, like pickup artist stuff. It was embarrassing as hell. I think I even have some of those books still. It's the most ridiculous advice, you know, and I'd probably never use it, but that's what got me into it. Yeah, literally demon SF got me into typing, literally, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense as far as my case too, just sucking at the ST, wanting to learn how to do all that, you know, and that's why, especially too, a lot of people I learned from our blasters too, you know, and thinkers.
Yeah. So let's actually start getting into that, like compare and contrast, right? So like, let's do the compare and contrast straight up. That's not even play any fucking games. We're both ENFPs, but apparently I'm the robotic version. So you gotta help me out. Why am I the robotic version and you're not?
I don't know. It's just bro vibes, you know? When people type me, before I got officially typed, a lot of comments were like bro vibes, you know? And that's what I'm noticing with all the feelers that I'm interacting with. You got Leon and Sam, Ian, really good examples of bros, you know? We're all bros. We're all smart. We're all got the thinker. We all got developed systems, whatever. But you just come off so business, you know? Like even from your Facebook profile to your LinkedIn, the way you're interacting, it's not that you don't have the feeler vibes at all, because you really do. Because sometimes, oh, catch these hands, oh, you know, like that's good. That's good F right there. But info dom plus thinking, that's where the robotic comes in. It's just like your LinkedIn profile is almost that first impression of you is almost the way your vibe comes off. You just look like that. You don't even seem ENFP half the time. You just seem so about the business. It's like, how is this guy some OE weirdo chaos monkey, you know? But you got to get to know you as a person, you gotta get to know OPS as a system, and then it makes sense. But other than that, the info down plus the thinking, that's like where the roboticness comes from.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how to turn it off. Like I literally, because I remember that conversation we had, and I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't know
Ian
how to
says,
not.
"Come on, he got a blazer right now." Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, Ian. Like I'm swagged out. He got the blazer. That's the perfect juxtaposition for thinker versus feeler. You know what I mean?
You can't even make it up. Yeah, I just got from work, but yeah, still. I didn't even think to change. I was like, yeah, I'll just run with it. I don't know how to turn that off. So it's like, I guess, how do you? This is the most thinker question I've asked of all time. How do you access these bro vibes? How do I too become a bro?
Oh man. All right, it's just something I'll always track, and it's like, it's something that gave me anxiety. Like I'm not cool enough. I'm not being, I'm not noticing the vibe enough. That's why I thought I was a thinker. I'm like,
Okay.
I suck at the vibe. But really, it's the other way around. It's like I'm so hyper aware of the situation, the vibe. Sometimes FI can even backfire on you because really I want people to match to my vibe. So I will set the tone. I will set the pacing in the conversation. I'll set the vibe every time I'm with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not adjusting to my vibe, I'll do whatever it takes, which is just a few tricks on my sleeve, a few methods of conversation, a few ways of just interacting. That brings them back to my level.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really is just vibe tracking. If you want to be a bro, man, you can't be afraid to look and sound dumb in a sense. Because if you're smart, if you come off as smart, and this might not even apply to you, bro. This is how I'm looking at it. It's like I know I'm smart deep down. I know I scored way higher on test scores, way higher on grades all throughout school. So I actually was like trying to blunt that. I'm like, I don't want to be seen as the smart guy. I want to be seen as of course, the yibby skibby, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to have all this fun, even though I was in the background, not sacrificing my grades, my work, my smarts, my systems, whatever. So it's all to become a bro, I guess. You kind of got to chill out. You kind of got to be more informal, be more warm, take things a little bit less seriously on the surface. No matter how seriously things are turning on the inside. When you present to other people, it's like you kind of just joking around. Like if anyone knows me, on the inside I got extreme SI systems, extreme push on the self, extreme masculine sleep, and I take that very seriously. But if I'm in conversation, if I sense that bringing this stuff up, which is what I'm really passionate about and focused on processing all day, isn't gonna push the vibe forward, I ain't gonna bring it up. I mean, I might associate with you less because I want people like that who I can bring that stuff up with. But in typical day-to-day conversation, no one wants to be blasted to. No one wants to hear your freaking SI, all that type of stuff. So I'll just back off until I find an appropriate environment to express that. Man,
that's interesting. So I'm trying to track why I don't do that, right? So I mean, because like part of the whole system is like, my saviors are telling me either I'm not allowed or that's not something I should do, right? Especially with the TE. It just feel like, I don't know. It's almost like, I will say this. Sometimes I will be in situations where I guess I could come off as a bruh or whatever. And I just get uncomfortable. I'm just like, so it's like, let me
I can tell you do it and then you kind of revert, but that's just the nature of the way the code works anyway.
Yeah.
And so, maybe a tip for you, I would say, this is something I do too much, is I test the waters before.
Okay.
Like I test the waters, like, Discord. I have my shirt off. I'm like, let's see how these people respond to me doing push-ups with my shirt off on camera.
Okay.
Clearly way out of the bounds of the tribal, what they are going to accept. So I'm like, let me test the waters at least anyway, see exactly how they react, and then tone it back from there. So I'm kind of all out at first and then toning it back.
Have you? My bad for the channel change. Have you seen the Aaron Alexander class? You know who that is? The ISFP guy.
Yeah.
So in that class they talk about like the I do what I want, bruh, dude. The kind of
exactly.
So in that class, this is me being a TE. I get it, but like in that class, they talk about him taking like he was like on the TomTom interviews, and he talks about he takes every single micro opportunity to do to express his vibe and to do that kind of checking you're talking about. Do you do that like do you do that throughout like your social interactions? Do you do like these little micro, what do you call them? These micro opportunities to express your FI just to kind of check?
Oh, of course, man. I mean, I love expressing my FI. You know, that's my savior. That's like what I live for, is to express my FI, bro. Like, in fact, one of my I come up with a one sentence destiny plan. A lot of the time, it used to be help people express their identities, basically help people express themselves.
Okay.
And so it's like, that's me, self-expression. Aaron Alexander FI. I like to do the same stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, why is that important to you though? Like, why? Because it seems like that's, I mean, yeah, it's your savior, but like, why? I guess why? I mean, that's my any, you know.
Is it really something I'm processed on? I mean, I'm not sure. It's just, bro, life is too short to not be who you are. Why do I gotta bend to the will of the tribe who ain't even important to me? Like, this is Ed Milet. I love, dude. He's the double masculine, TESI, last play, consume, sleep. He's freaking awesome. He's like, he has this analogy. He's like, you ever watched a movie and at the end you see all the people and you got like the cab driver number 1, cab driver number 2. Too many of y'all are caring about what cab driver number 1 and 2 think about you. You know, I'm like, that hits me right in my saviors. I'm like, yeah, dude, why the hell are you caring about what these people who ain't even gonna matter? You know, so I just like to be myself, express who I am, what I believe in. I mean, if I don't know if I'm explaining the why as much as you want to, but it's just
No, it's good.
I cannot do it, you know.
It's good. I mean, it's something I don't do enough of, right? Like, so I'm literally, I mean, I'm using this compare and contrast for myself. Like, that's where I'm at because like we're super similar types, right?
Oh yeah.
So like, for me, I like where my mind is like racing is like it's like I don't do that, right? And I'm like, okay, well, why am I not doing that? And I think it comes down to fear, you know. I am afraid to like express my identity like 90% of the time. So it's like it's cool to see that you're just kind of going for it, honestly, you know. So that's where I was going with that. Yeah.
And of course, double deciding. It's really easy for me to find the balance. I'll always lean more so on micro expressing the FI whenever I can. But I'm also not going to argue with the tribe and prove that maybe that's feminine D. I'm not just going to prove to you who I am and prove that I need to express myself at all times. Like, if it's time to tone it back, hey, I got no problem with doing it. You know, I'll tone it back, and maybe over time I'll start toning it back up. It's like when you throw the frog in the water and you boil it, you know, that analogy. I'll try to do that more so than just like throw the frog in the hot boiling pot of water and make it.
Right. So you don't go all in on the FI all at once. That's an important difference.
Yeah, or when it backfires, you know how I said I test the waters. Like if I'm doing push-ups with my shirt off and everyone responds negatively, I don't feel remorse. I don't feel like it's right that they control me that way. I'm like, this is stupid of a rule. I should be able to just do whatever I want. But I'll tone it back, all the way back, just to please people. But over time, as they get to know me and get more comfortable with my FI, raise the level.
Yo, I know motherfuckers like this. That's why you guys do this. No, I'm gonna call him out. You just explained Leon to me, actually. You just explained Leon to me.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
I was so confused as to why he does that shit. Okay, if Leon, I hope you're watching. Okay, I understand you now. I understand you. Okay. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit, but this is related to the FI. Talk to me about sleep processing, of course, right? Like, how was the FI? How do you experience your FI in the context of sleep processing? How do you define sleep processing? You know, and like, what's that like for you?
Yeah, man. Well, to answer the FI in relation to sleep processing question is I've always just had certain beliefs on how a person should be when it comes to morals. What type of character do you have? What do you believe in? You know, so like lying, cheating, stealing. I got mottos I got philosophies for all these types of things, you know? Like, I would never, I can't say I wouldn't ever lie because that's a human nature thing, you know? But my philosophy on lying, for example, the way I view that as a value is that lying is wrong, but leaving out bits of the truth, you know, can be helpful, you know? Right. So it's like, I'll never lie to you, but I might I might shape the story in a certain way because I'm only telling you certain facts, you know?
Right.
That's like my moral. Like, I'm like, what's right as far as lying goes and what's wrong, you know? So I'm finding that exact balance. That's how FI I view it in processing. Like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. But connecting that to my SI, it's all about building a routine. So taking care of myself over and over. Like, I got the sleep schedule, workout schedule that I got to hit every single day. And of course, I want to keep the options open. I don't want to go to bed right now. My bedtime's 10 p.m. I don't want to go to bed at 10 p.m., bro. I want to stay up all night till 3 a.m. But I know negative consequences. And that scares me far more than the control and the narrow down of the sleep routine. I hate the negative consequences that'll come with if I don't get this routine down, far more than I hate the lack of options.
Right. I mean, I'm sleep last. So I'm trying to be like, okay, how do I not do this? I mean, I definitely don't have routines, but like, even in terms, like, I guess my question is, when you hear the word processing, what do you mean by the processing element? Like, what does processing
element is really just
yeah.
Which I guess I should have said this is the theme long ago. Opportunity cost, which is basically most important things first. First things first, you know, that type of stuff. So processing is really keeping top of mind the most important things that can help you in any situation. So I like to think meta, you know what I'm saying? So in life, something that I can keep in my head at all times that'll apply to all situations, not just this specific situation, but staying healthy, for example. Health, bro, whether I'm working on math problems, whether I'm doing physical labor, whether I'm doing this, that, health is always going to benefit you. So it's meta. And so that's one of the most important things. So by processing, it's like, don't let the clutter, and it's easy as an OE, don't let the clutter just take up so much space, man. Even if you got clutter, you got to be able to travel through it quickly and easily to get to what you need. So if I were to tell you my like OI philosophies, I always got them. I always can tell you. And even when I'm consuming, sometimes I'll over consume the same thing. It's not technically processing, but it's so I can keep this information tip top of my mind. So when I'm done consuming, because that's where my lack comes from. I feel like I have to consume to do things. Otherwise, but when I'm away from the consume, the quality of my brain starts decreasing over time. And I'm like, I want to go back and either reconsume to increase the quality back up, or just after I'm done consuming, if it's really important, I want it saved up inside of me so I can either blast it back or just utilize it in day-to-day life. And that's what I view as processing.
Okay. Before I transition, so you've known me a little bit. It's not like we're like super close yet, but it's like, for me as a sleep last, how when you watch me, like, how am I not doing that, for example, or like other sleep lasts or demon sleeps?
You were doing it when you started consolidating all the what's his name, Gary Vee stuff.
Right.
But other than that, you're like all over the place, man. It's for you, it's not bad, you know. I mean, it is bad, but I'm saying like you got good. Even though you're all over the place, a lot of the stuff that you study is kind of valuable. But it's like that stuff cannot help you as good as it is because you can't just recall it at any moment without going back and revisiting it.
Right.
So if I were to ask you right now, and there's no consume going on, no nothing, what things about Gary Vee you have consolidated that you can either use right now, or you can go as soon as we're off this thing, you can go act on it right then and there. You know, maybe that's your job as well. Like you got to do something with the information. You know, you can't just teach it and learn it and teach it. You know.
Right. And so yeah, so Gary Vee is a good example because like you say that and I'm like, okay, I actually have like maybe like 2, 3, 4 things where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can execute that. But if you were to ask me literally, like, I'm trying to think like in any other area of my life, I would have a hard time. Yeah. Yeah, I would. So, okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, what I've seen from other sleep lasts, not you, that just takes so long for things to click. If I bring up something over and over again, it's important to me because I process it. And I'm trying to get you to understand and maybe put it into your processing bag. If you still are like confused as to what I'm talking about and you don't fully grasp what I'm saying after I brought it up a lot of times, like I got a sleep last friend, every day I'm bringing up the 1 disease, 2 causes to him every damn day. And he, this is not something he's moved into his processing bag. Other things I've taught him, he's moved in, which is he's really acted on them, and so that's good. But it's like I'm bringing up the one disease, two causes for a reason. I want you to be able to have that processed. I want to process on my own. Now we can come together and we can really understand the true importance of this thing. And then the other guy, Sleep Last, is just Ed Milet. This man, bro. I put him on the TV when I was at my grandma's house, and my grandma's like, dude, this guy is so loud. He doesn't shut up, never takes a break. He's just 24/7 screaming. And it's like, sleep last need to know when to take a breath, when to take a breather. You know what I'm saying? It's just
I can, if you don't mind, I do want to comment on that a little bit, at least from my experience. From my experience being play first, sleep last, right? Play consume. I know a lot of people will give me advice, or like as you say, they will tell me things, and I know they want me to put it in my processing bag, as the way you worded it. Literally, for me, it's like there's just such a disrespect of I can't trust this information unless it's been vetted, right? That's where the play comes from. It's like, okay, unless I hear this 7 different times, I'm not gonna worry.
That makes sense, man.
It's like, why would I worry about something that's not going to come up again? You know, that's just me.
Well, then I got my response, which is back in the day, you were executed if you believed that the sun, right? Basically, the sun. The way those things revolve, they used to believe the opposite of what it actually is, and then you get executed for that. And it's like, so sometimes the popularity of the information ain't what it is. It's just the accuracy. Is the information working? Is it accurate? Is it objective? Yada yada. Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you can't always trust the tribe to know what the hell's going on. You know, what a surprise.
I mean, there's 2 different books. One's like the wisdom of crowds. One's the folly of crowds. You know, so there's time and place for both, obviously.
Right.
You just gotta know when and where and how.
Right. And yeah, so that's a good point. I'm just imbalanced on the trust side. Okay. I guess the last thing about your type, and then we'll just shift gears to some of the stuff, you know, like some of your personal interests, is the blast last, which is interesting, right? Because it's like you're. I mean, I thought you were blasting when I was trying to type you. I was like, okay, this guy has his shirt off, telling me about the meaning of life every day.
Yeah, I'm Joe Descend. I was Joe Descending in you.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess, you know. So talk to me about that. Like, so your blast last, first of all, what does blast last even mean to you?
It's just not worth it to like be sitting here controlling the tribe when they don't like it, pretty much. Or it's causing so much conflict in my relationships. I'd rather have someone who's already controlling themselves, link up with them, compare how I've controlled myself, how they've controlled themselves, maybe how we can do some control together. But honestly, that's where it falls apart, is doing control with other people. It's something I crave and I really, really want, but it's just like the biggest struggle ever, bro. You know, and that's the lifesaver of the OPS community. You meet these people, man. They got the control. They're working on it on themselves. You know, we all suck. We're all flawed, whatever. But I'm so thankful to meet other people who are doing the same thing. And it's not, say, my brother or my family or my friends, if I start blasting at them, they get so annoyed, it seems. And it's like it always kills the vibe. And I'm not doing it right half the time. So it's something that I almost just half the time want to give up on, even though I got the deep human need, like always, like, man, I wish I could do this. But it's something I'm not translating into reality that well.
Right. Okay, so I'm still like, it still like, I guess bothers me, for lack of better terms, because anecdotally, it's like you would have, like, first of all, I thought you were squatted up, for lack of better terms. It's like when I would watch you, it's like, hey, you know, me and my like, I don't know who your crew is, but it's like I would always see you kind of, you know, feeding them and guiding them. And I was like, at the time, you know, pre your type, I was like, okay, you know, how is this not control? Like, have you processed that at all? Is that just play? Like, how do you account for that?
It's because well, yeah, but it's true what you're saying. It's just very sloppy, man. It's just, I'm idealizing it. I would, in reality, I want it more controlled with the squad. I mean, I got a tight-knit squad. We're really close, but it's just so much OE going on between us, and I can't get them to focus. And when I try to get them to focus, when I try to blast at them or help them put important things in their sleep process bag, like don't drink alcohol, don't do this, yada, yada, it's like they don't even take it seriously. And then, so we're not unified in that regard. We're unified in maybe FI, like we're really close, we're loyal, we're good people together, but we're not accomplishing things externally like I want to be as a group.
And have you experienced like any tidal waves like because of that?
Yeah. In fact, there was a major tidal wave. It wasn't me in particular, but I think so. My brother guaranteed blast last. Obviously, I ain't no professional typer. Then my other friend Matthew, he's been in the Discord.
Yeah.
Either blast third or blast last as well. And the tidal wave came because Matthew was going to move down from Minnesota or Wisconsin to Colorado with my brother Chaz, so we could all move to the same place eventually. Like I'm in New Mexico right now. We're gonna get them situated so that we can all get situated later on. And Matthew made all these promises, and it didn't end up happening. And then Chaz that's my brother, hissed. Like it almost ruined the friendship for them for a while. Like it really did. And that's the tidal wave. Is like they're not putting in the effort to get the blast going and making these things objectively happen. They're making promises. It's based on the love and respect we have for each other. But sometimes, unfortunately, that ain't enough to make what you want to happen.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's very true. And so, I mean, I guess, like, how are you working on that specifically? Like, getting that more controlled, at least with, whether it's that group or just in general.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm actually just doubling down on sleep. It's harder for me to access the SI through the blast. And it's weird. The more older I get, I'm bringing the SI up, but the tribe is going down. So my voids are really coming from the tribe right now. So that's why I'm trying to connect with the OPS community, cool people from there, and build something. People across the world, not necessarily people I already know. Right. And if I can make progress there, I'm trying to translate it to my friend group, which some of it is working. In fact, Matthew's interested in the OPS community. It's some of the most impressive growth I've seen out of the guy for a long time, So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doubling down on sleep, just activating SI, working on myself, going hard as I can, and then finding other tribe members who are doing the same thing.
Right.
Getting somewhere with that,
Right. No, it's really good. Very admirable, legitimately. So last few minutes before we do Q&A, if we have any Q&A, let's shift gears a little bit. So it's I'm looking at, you have actually, so I've done a lot of these notes. You have the most under your section so far. I don't think I've told you that. Like, you have a lot of interest. You have a lot of things to talk about. Tai Lopez. We got to talk about Tai Lopez. We have to, man. We have to. So you tell us about. You got to. You have to at least once.
Yeah, he's an energy dom, but he's flipped. He's blast first, consume last. Freaking admire the guy, man. Probably to this day, the number one guy. Like, if I had to cut out learning from anybody else, I would still learn from him. As funny as that sounds, David Shen, I don't really even think they consider him alpha necessarily.
Okay.
But I don't know, man. The guy is killing it. And his NI concepts are just some of the best overall concepts that can help anyone's life,
Okay.
And I don't know. What I learned from him is opportunity cost first, which is first things first, most important things. Then he's came up with the most important categories of life: health, wealth, love, and happiness. Right? And so I took those categories and ran with them because they gave me so much purpose. It just really helped me objectively achieve what I want to.
Right.
Then health, I'm like, this is where you can customize it on your own. So I'm like, what for me is the most important part of health? Most important part of health for me is the one disease, two causes, which is a Raymond Francis concept. And that's a whole rabbit hole that's really deep and it's really simple. But it's just, like I said, meta. If you master the one disease, two causes, you master so many things. Well,
hey, no, hold up. You got to blast it. Don't fuck up. You got
disease, two causes.
Yes.
And yeah, Gray, he's not alpha, but it is my demon. So that is what's working for me. But he's also got some pretty good results, like followers, money. He's achieving happiness, whatever. But the health, the one disease, two causes.
Mm-hmm.
The one disease, all things you can think of, all sicknesses, all whatever falls underneath that category: cancer, diabetes, heart disease, you name it, man. Corona. It's all malfunctioning cells. So break life down into simple units. What is life? It's just cellular. It's just your cells. Like a bacteria, one-celled organism. That's life. So if that one cell organism isn't doing its job 100% the way it should be, then there's problems. And that's all the one disease is. It's basically if any of your cells are not functioning the way they should.
Mm-hmm.
The two causes is deficiency and toxicity. And that's just a fancy way of saying not getting enough of something or getting too much of something. We don't even have to use food, which food is the main thing that you have control over for the one disease, two causes that you should take extreme care in understanding and selecting. But let's take sunlight as an example. Sunlight, if I'm redhead, if I go in the sun for too long, I'm burnt to a crisp. That's toxicity. But if I don't get any sunlight, my hormones ain't going to be optimized, all that stuff. That's deficiency. So you have to find the right dose of everything. And you have to cure all your deficiencies. So if you need a certain amount of vitamin C, magnesium, whatever, if you need all that every day, you need to find foods daily to fill these boxes. But you also, vegetable oil is almost in every single meal you eat these days. Fast food, you can't go to any fast food because vegetable oil is one of the most killer toxins. Catherine Sanahan, and here goes the consume is what Gray made me realize. Consume, they'll always cite their information. But Catherine Sanahan from Deep Nutrition, you want to know why she's important? Kobe Bryant, personal nutritionist. LeBron James, personal nutritionist. She goes hard. She's cured like diabetes almost, you know what I'm saying, with all her patients. So she says, what was I talking about?
Toxicity, I think.
Nah.
Are you still on deficiency or toxicity?
Damn. I hate that OE brain part, man. Why would I bring up Catherine Sanahan?
Oh my God. What does she talk about?
Trying to figure it out. What did I say before that?
You were saying everyone needs a certain amount. If you're deficient, you have to make sure you get the right doses of everything. And then you went to her.
Right doses. Whatever, bro. That's embarrassing. That's when the blast breaks down, you know, like all the way. That's blast last crumbling, bro.
Oh my God.
Crumbling.
Oh my God. What's her name again? Say her name again.
Catherine Sanahan.
Catherine Sanahan. So someone can Google that.
I'm pissed. I don't know why I brought it up.
Okay, so but anyway, go to toxicity
then. Everyone's laughing. So toxicity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I brought it up. Vegetable oil. I was talking about vegetable oil. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Vegetable oil increases chance of DNA mutation, not by 10 times, not by 100 times, not by 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times. You get 1,000,000 times higher DNA mutation when you eat that. And so, I saw this. It's because of the molecular reactions.
Okay.
So molecularly, vegetable oil just wreaks havoc on shit. I chew gum a lot. Okay. I ate this brownie batter at work that they pretty much use pure vegetable oil to make it. My gum disintegrated, bro. Disintegrated in my mouth because I had my gum like I was trying to store it up in my teeth so I could taste the batter and then start chewing it again, you know? Bro, that gum wasn't even anywhere near that shit, but it touched a little bit and the gum just fell apart. So that's the molecular reactivity of that shit. Anyway, don't eat that shit. So if you go and put a lot of toxins in your body, it's going to break down your health in all sorts of ways. And you got to think that the body's just one machine. Say I get a cut on my arm, I got to take nutrients that could be used maybe to make my brain function better. Or say I got too much sunlight in the eyes, and my eyes got to repair. Well, now some of those nutrients got to be redirected, and they got to heal a cut in my arm. So it's all one system. That's why he's breaking it down into one disease. Like, you can't just fight diabetes without fighting everything else. I mean, you can, right? Like, say diabetes, what's the root problem? It's a blood sugar problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But if you get your blood sugar regulated and you get everything else regulated, then the whole system works better.
Okay.
Yeah, Jasper. That's what I was saying about the sunlight. Yeah, and so with deficiency and toxicity.
Right. So that's health, right? Yeah, so zoom back out. Let me help you out. Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about
I'm way too hard on this right now.
No, I got you. So you're saying, okay, so Tai Lopez gave you like the meta, right? Health, wealth, love, and happiness. Yeah. Then you went to each of the systems have one of each, right? Like you're like for health, you're like you found out for yourself what's the most important, so you went to that. For wealth, what is the most important for you in wealth? Let's say
investing.
Okay.
And when I say investing, most people think stocks. not always freaking stocks. Investment is a mentality. It's putting off current pleasures for future gain.
Okay.
That's the marshmallow test, the basis of the marshmallow test. If you've ever heard that marshmallow test, they gave kids a marshmallow and they left the room. They said, before they left the room, they said, I'll give you 2 marshmallows if you wait 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can eat yours now and you just eat the one.
Mm-hmm.
Then they tracked these kids throughout life. The kids who waited for the second marshmallow always did better on success markers. I don't know what the exact success markers were, money, status, health, whatever. Whatever it was, they always did better. I could go get to consume and learn more about it, like what the markers were, whatever.
Yeah.
So just put off current pleasure for future gains. And, in my case, what I've done, investor mentality, is the studio. Started making music on a laptop, man, a freaking laptop. And it didn't matter. I made music, made money, invested in the music. From working a job, kept investing. Now I got all this equipment. I go to college, I'm making this dance music. And freaking people are walking by my dorm, they come in, they hear it, and they're like, man, you should make me a rap beat. So now I'm at this point where I start making rap beats and I'm charging for rap beats. So the way I invested in all this equipment, people wanted to come to me for more, they wanted to pay me to make them music. Yeah. And I kept going, taking that farther and farther. The money I get from that, I'm still investing back in the studio, like this piano, the keyboard, whatever, the studio phone. Over time, just reinvesting back in the studio. It's like a machine. It's just a cycle. It's kind of like farming. When you farm, you plant, animals die, feed the plants, whatever. Da da da. Same thing with investment. You have to have an investment cycle.
Right.
You got to put off current pleasure for future gain. That's the most important thing about wealth.
Okay. So what about the most important thing for love?
Well, what I found, and love is one of the most tricky categories. Easy to make money. You can lose it, make it back. You know what I'm saying? But with love, for me, the one important thing I narrowed it down: personality types, attachment styles, love languages, things like this. Everyone's different, bro. And it's funny because you were talking about pickup. Pickup is good situationally. There's freaking hella. If I go to a nightclub and I'm doing pickup, I'll probably come home maybe with a really fine girl. But is that what I'm looking for as a person, or is that maybe when I'm young I want that? Like I've done a little bit of that. It's fun, but it doesn't leave me fulfilled. That's the whole thing about happiness. It's fulfillment. He just says happiness because it's easier to understand for most people until I break it down. Why is happiness supposed to be fulfillment? So love, what was fulfilling me, is not things like pickup, but it's finding who I am, finding a girl, or love is also friends, family, romance. So friends, finding the best friends, cultivating my family relationships, romantically finding good girls or a good girl, whatever your type is. You have to just learn how you function, learn how they function, learn what you want. Because, like I said, with pickup, it works in certain situations, but that's kind of that. Yeah. Now I'm going in circles.
Yeah, a little bit. So, and then happiness is there. I mean, fulfillment. It almost sounds like fulfillment is just you just have to hit the other 3 buckets, right? So if you do love, health, wealth, and love, So it's almost like the 4th one is just not even. It's like the end product. So there's only 3.
Yeah, in a sense, but as well as it's kind of like you can't fit everything happiness related into purely health, wealth, and love. It's like 90% of the equation. But some things I do that don't move me along healthy, they don't make me any money, and they're not improving my love life, like playing video games. Yeah. In fact, that could go against wealth or health in some ways, as long as if I'm going too hard with the video game, but it'll still bring me happiness. So it's like, you have to balance. There are certain aspects of happiness that don't involve these 3, but it's still like, even if I'm going hard on video games, I can't neglect the health. So it is all like, it's a math equation,
Yeah. I don't know why my any is just like fighting it. Like, cause I'm like, well, wouldn't that like fit under love still though? Like self-love or something like that?
Oh, but yeah, because that's what I'm saying. One of the reasons I play video games is for connection. I want to play with my friends. I want to play with other people,
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, you can.
We can OI it. We did the OI. It's only 3. There you go. Tai
But
Lopez.
they want to hear your pickup lines, bro.
I don't have no fucking pickup lines. You gotta just walk up. Here's how I do it. Okay. I swear to God, I read it was this book called, I don't know if you've heard of this guy, Mark Manson. He used to have like a website.
Oh yeah,
He has like books out now and shit. He wrote this book called Models. I swear to God, he's FITE Axis, because his whole thing was you should not be doing pickup lines. You should be sorting people out based on demographics. So it's like, be who you are and then identify the demographics that's attracted to that.
Yeah.
So I don't need a pickup line. I'm already cute. Yeah. And it's like, you just got to find the niches that are already, you know?
Yeah, it's all situational. Like I go to a party, I'm coming home with a girl that night because I will use pickup lines and it freaking works like a charm in that environment. But now there's this girl I'm crushing on, right?
Yeah.
Talking to her. Yeah. She loves math. She's about to be a math teacher.
There you go.
Actually, she's like obsessed with math. It's in her OI box hard. And I said, fuck Pythagoras. Me squared plus u squared equals we squared. You know? So that's my pickup line for you, Rose.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I have no fun.
You know, it's different situations. It's like you said, identifying the demographics. So
yeah. I promise to God, one day I'm gonna roll up on like one of these E4. What do you call these things? These gamer conventions. I'm be like, yo, you, huh?
E3, I think it's called.
E3, thank you. And then I'm just gonna pull up and be like, yo, Sephiroth don't have to be the only thing that has to be shirtless, all right? And then that's it.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's it. It's over. Yep. It's over. I've already planned this. I've pre-seen this. I've precognated this.
But, you know, that's the thing about us, SIFI, right? SEFE, that's the whole name of the game. SEFE is like flirting, that natural social charisma, you know?
Yeah.
But for us, we want those deep sensory and feeling connections. So we're especially going to be attracted to the type of advice of like find the demographic and act accordingly. Because that's something that maybe we want. I'm not saying, oh, all SEFEs are hoes, whatever. No, it's not, of course.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, in the realm of what could go smoother and more natural for them versus what could go smooth and natural for us. Like me and you, what are we doing right now? NT play, spitting ideas out, you know, feminine, bullshitting away on the ideas. But that's not what SF player people are doing, you know?
Yeah, SF, I don't even want to repeat what they do. Okay. They're doing some reckless things out there. I've seen it. I've ordained it. Okay. Really good. Before we get into the Q&A, hey Gray, take care. Before we get into the Q&A, what is there anything else you want to kind of mention? You know, whether it's about your type, your interests, because I mean, there's a lot here, but you know, I know music, for example. Is there anything else?
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure that everyone takes away value from the freaking, you know, why are you watching me bullshit around? Here's what I want you to remember that can actually really objectively improve your life.
Okay.
It's the overall theme that I'm trying to convey, you know, but I'm any around. But like I said, opportunity cost. Identify the most important things. And maybe you can find your own categories. What seemed to work really well for me, health, wealth, love, and happiness. Then you find, for you personally, what's the most important thing out of each category. And then go hard from there. And sleep process the crap out of them. If you're going to consume, those are your consume boxes. Like I'm a consume head, but I'll stick mostly 90% of the time only to these categories. If it's improving my health to consume this, improving my wealth, like overtime, love, whatever. So if you're going to consume things, make sure you figure out your boxes. They got to be important to your life. Right. And then you got to sleep process the crap out of them. And if you're going to build a tribe, what someone said, I forgot who said, but the quote is you tolerate what you don't hate. So I hate being around people who have no interest at all in health or wealth or love. You know, not saying that because like everyone has different levels of all these things, right? But if you don't have at least a little bit that we can improve ourselves from one of the categories, there's almost no reason for me to even interact with you. So you're not a part of my tribe, and that's kind of blunt, you know. But life, you got to stay focused. This is my demon OI coming out. You got to stay focused. You got to have that mission. You got to have that destiny. You got to know who you are, know what you want, know what's important, and just process the crap out of these important things because the mind is like an addict. Sherlock Holmes said this. The mind's like an addict. Whenever you need something, you go up in the attic, man, you can't find that thing. Because that thing, you know, So make sure you got the most important things easily accessible, easily findable, and objectively improve your life with them.
All right.
That's it.
There you go. So I'm gonna ask for questions. I'm not gonna demand them, but I'm gonna scroll through. We're gonna go to the Q&A if we have any. All right. I see a lot of people throwing shade at me. Okay, good to see it. Apparently, what the fuck? Regi is Bender from Futurama. What does this even mean? I don't get this. Oh, Bender's the robot, right?
Yeah, he's the robot.
Oh, that's so funny.
Annie was going wild with that one.
Yeah. Okay, so hi guys. I don't see any questions, but everyone's being nice. Where did the pickup lines? You already know. All right, that looks like it's it. I don't see any questions. So guys, really appreciate you guys coming out. Griff. Oh wait,
hey, Rose got a question.
Rose got a question. She just saved your asses. Help me with the bias I have. How do you feel? I fucking love masculine FE. That's me. I like it.
I didn't really put masculine FE into my process box, man. But Rose, like, I think you're cool. So what I know about you, if you got MFE and Gary Vee got MFE, that shit's working for me. I haven't found really many problems with it. I'll bitch all day about TI, you know what I'm saying? But nah, but it's situational. Like, that's the way my OE brain sees things is situational. MFE can't always be bad or always be good. There's hella examples where MFE is used appropriately. There's hella times where it's used inappropriately. Don't worry about the function itself. Just worry about how can you appropriately use it, you know? And Rose, you've done well so far. From what I know, you're cool. So
yeah, and I'll give you a perfect example. This is her putting me in my masculine FE place. She was like, Regi, shut the fuck up. That was exactly what you were doing with this. I know how you are. Oh my God. Got called out. But apparently Emily has a question.
Yo, I can hear you, but everything froze. All right, it's back.
What?
All right, it's good. It's back.
Where's Emily's question?
Yeah, you're leaving us in suspense, Emily.
Oh, here we go.
Your dog, I hate those Karens, man. This inappropriate use of that stuff.
Here we go. Give us some Bill Burr, Louis C.K. jokes. That's you. I'm not doing
that. Regi sounds white. You don't sound black, and that's why it's Bill Burr, Louis C.K. joke because we'll touch on sensitive topics, you know. But I'll tell you, I'm not afraid to say that. Regi does not sound black. Okay, that's your Bill Burr, Louis C.K. joke for you.
Oh my God. All right, you're not wrong. You know.
She said worth it. Okay, good.
All right, I think that's it. You know, I think that's it. Hold up, let me see. Let me do my SI. I have to actually read line by line here. I think we're good, man. We got the pickup lines. Okay, good. All right, done. Griff, really appreciate it. Stay on for a little bit just so we can decompress. But everyone else, really appreciate you guys coming out. I'm not even gonna do the whole like and subscribe stuff. If you want to subscribe, do it. All the other relevant stuff is in the description. Griff,
yeah, I got you. Like if Regi is bringing you value, subscribe if you think Regi could bring you future value, and you know he will. So if you're feeling hesitant, you might as well just do the dang blast and hit the button.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Well, there we go. So everyone else, really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.